So this is a Midi-Scale Home 1 Starcruiser, and I am going to be doing a review on it. So this set released in January of 2025 for a retail price of $70, and this has set number 75405, 559 pieces, and an age rating of 18 plus. If you're curious, this is the back of the box. It just has a different angle of the builds, the dimensions of the set, and a nice reference image from, I believe, Return of the Jedi. And this is the build. First, let's talk about the stand. Generally, I'm a pretty big fan of the stands on the Midi-Scale sets. I just really like the all black. I think it looks very nice. I also do like how there isn't really any studs showing besides just those four on the front. And I also really like those grow pieces. I just think they really spice up the stand a little bit. At the front, there is of course the projectile with the LEGO Star Wars logo and the name of the ship. If you want, you could actually move this a little bit because it is actually attached with some hinge pieces. One neat inclusion is actually a miniature Nebulon B frigate, which is pretty cool, and LEGO did do a similar thing with the Super Star Destroyer because there were two miniature normal Star Destroyers. Now onto the main build. I will say, this set is pretty interesting, and that's just because the design of the Home 1 Starcruiser is a little weird. It just has a lot of strange bumps and shapes all over it, but I feel like LEGO did a pretty good job at recapturing that. Scattered across the build, there are a couple dark tan, sand blue, and dark red pieces, which I feel like spices up the build a little bit and prevents it from looking like a big gray blob. But I could see some people not liking that and wanting a more clean build. Right there are some trans blue pieces, which I assume are either supposed to represent windows or hangar bays, most likely the latter. At the back, there are a couple of engines with some blue thrust, which I feel like looks pretty good. On the top of the ship, there are the four bridges, which look pretty cool, and for the two smaller ones, LEGO just used ice skates. The front also looks very nice. They did use a lot of weird slow pieces and curved pieces, and the ones on the side were actually put at a slight angle. The sides look very nice, with a lot of interesting curved pieces. And the other side is essentially the exact same, minus that piece right there, and some slight variation with the tan pieces. If you're curious, this is the bottom of the ship. There are two more engines at the bottom, and a couple other random bits. This being a Midi-Scale set, you can of course look inside the build and see studs that are supposed to represent characters, and this one probably has the coolest one. To access it, you just take out the side. There is a pretty sizable amount of space inside, with some nice transparent blue pieces. At the front, there is of course Admiral Akbar in his chair, a miniature A-Wing in the middle, which is very cool, and Harrison Dula in the back with two other characters, but I'm not exactly sure who they are supposed to be. I do love how much space there is for the characters, and especially the A-Wing. I feel like that was a very nice inclusion. But I just kind of wish they made those pink pieces gray instead. Anyway, that is essentially it. I'm sorry that I didn't really talk too much about the actual exterior. There's not really too much to point out when the entire thing is just a gray blob. But would I recommend that you pick up the set? I'm not sure. But if you are a fan of the Home 1 Starcruiser or just Mon Calamari Starcruisers in general, this is a must-buy. But if you were thinking about getting a Midi-Scale set just in general, I wouldn't recommend this one to be your first pick. Just because I feel like a lot of the other Midi-Scale sets are just a little cooler. I mean, I am being a little harsh on the set, just because I'm not the biggest fan of the Home 1 Starcruiser in general. I just feel like the design is a little weird. But I mean, that is not LEGO's fault whatsoever, because they did a very good job replicating the actual design. And I mean, the price isn't terrible. Maybe 65 would have been a little bit better, but I feel like 70 isn't terrible. But I would give the set about a 7 out of 10.